This is me after a few years of lifting, posing in the mirror, and I can't help but feel a little disappointed looking at my physique. You know, I've been lifting in the gym 80% consistently over the years, so why don't my muscles look as defined and stuff? Like, bro, am I doing something wrong? Or you know what? Maybe I should hop on. Alright. Let me back up a bit and actually show you how I got into this position. I started off basically looking like a twig, very skinny, and I just wanted to get bigger and stronger and look better. And so I just took the generic advice of, oh, you know what? I'm skinny and I don't have much muscle, so yeah, I'll just bulk for like a really long time. And hey, look at that, a few months go by and I'm making decent progress, getting stronger and also looking bigger, and my beginner gains are coming in. I'm gaining muscle pretty quickly. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting bigger and bigger, so I need to keep eating more and more, right? So that's exactly what I did. I force fed myself. I put on 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds over a couple years. But wait, 40 pounds from my starting physique? So I must look like an absolute gym Chad right now, right? Let me explain to you what actually went wrong and how I was able to overcome that to look way better now after several months. The simple answer is that I just got way too fat, and most people might look at this and be like, wait, this isn't fat, it's just a bit bulked. And to be honest, I kind of had the same mindset, but that belief actually made me feel worse because I had no idea of how much better I could have looked and what my physique truly looked like. At this point, I legitimately thought I was around like 16% body fat, when, spoiler alert, this is what 15% body fat actually looks like after I lost 25 pounds. Since I started off skinny, and for most skinny guys, we feel like we shouldn't be cutting because we're not that big, you know? And so we basically hop on this infinite bulk, trying to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but we're just putting on pounds and pounds of fat. And then the years go by and the whole time we're just overweight without really realizing it. And it doesn't even occur to my mind that maybe I should cut because I always started off skinny. But do you see how that was never even helping me? And I think this is the type of direction that majority of people take in the gym, and I genuinely feel like it holds them back from looking their best or achieving their dream physique. And we never need to follow the cycle of, oh,
bulk cut, bulk cut, bulk cut, bulk cut, bulk cut, bulk cut, summer cut, winter bulk.
Like, bro, we can look good the entire time. There's no need to get tubby. And personally for me, I feel like I want to get even leaner than I am right now. Like, I'm thinking what I am right now is gonna be my quote unquote bulked stage. Like, I'm not gonna ever get fatter than this point, and usually I want to be even leaner than this because I feel like that's gonna look sick. At that point, it's just like doing it for the sake of aesthetics, but a lot of people are definitely way too high of a body fat percentage and coping by calling it a bulk. And after struggling for so long, I finally realized that more calories does not equal more muscle. It doesn't take 500 extra calories every day when you're bulking to make muscle gain, because again, after newbie gains, you don't gain pounds of muscle as quickly anymore, and now we're just going gram by gram. This is a complete myth that I see get tossed around online a lot, where people tell you eat big to get big, but like, sure, yeah, you do need to be in a surplus at some time, but there's even literature online to show that you can maximize muscle growth at maintenance calories. Basically, I was just in a cycle of, oh, I'm feeling small, I want to get bigger and gain more muscle, okay, bulk, over and over and over. And yes, my weight was going up, but I was just putting on pounds of fat over and over to my body, which hid my muscle definition and made me feel even worse. Yo, my foot's cramping. Yo, my foot's actually cramping so bad. Oh my God. So I wasn't even gaining extra muscle, which is why I look a lot more muscular after actually losing all that fat. And you might be wondering, okay, so what if I actually want to get to a bigger and heavier weight? I still need to bulk, no? I've spoken to many guys who've told me this, telling me that they want to get bigger and actually look sick. But we need to ask ourselves, like, what do you mean by bigger? Do you mean more muscular or fatter? Because actually getting big, as in jacked, is not even about eating hella calories and watching the scale go up. The problem with that thought process is that we're really underestimating how fast muscle actually grows. So after your beginner gains, you're not going to gain pounds of muscle every month or 12 pounds of muscle in a year. It becomes slower and slower and harder to put on lean muscle tissue as a natural lifter. So then that pound you're gaining every month if you're on a bulk isn't contributing to putting on muscle tissue, especially if you've completed your newbie gains, but instead it's contributing to something else. And naively, I would look at my physique after 3 years of lifting thinking, wait, why don't I look good? So if you've been lifting for a while and you feel like you don't look as good or don't have all that much muscle definition, it's very likely that your body fat is too high and you might be underestimating it, because this is exactly what I was doing. The thing that held me and is currently holding most people back is that they don't want to feel small when they're lean, or they're insecure with their weight on the scale. I remember there was something going around where if you're under 200 pounds, you're considered victim weight. Like, alright bro, if you're willing to look like an ogre to not be victim weight, which by the way, nobody even cares about how much you weigh, go ahead, because unless you're tall, like actually pretty tall, most people will genuinely never touch 200 pounds lean in their lives. Like actually lean. Not on some 20%, 25% body fat, but genuine like 15 and under. It's actually incredibly rare, and because of social media, it feels like there's this effect where you have to be that because you see so many people online are like that. You need the dedication, you need to really commit your life, and you even need the genetics for it. So what's the point if you can look good at whatever weight you are according to your height and you're strong? Who cares what the scale says? You're just gonna keep getting fatter if you continue to bulk over and over. Like, I'm here to tell you, bro, I felt so much worse mentally, and I felt slower and I looked worse. And now I feel so much more confident being leaner. Like, being around 20% body fat is objectively unhealthier than being around 15%. You're likely gonna feel way better, you're gonna look better, and you're also gonna be healthier. So it's never necessary to take your bulks above 15 to 16% body fat. And a mistake people make, just like I was doing, is that majority of people heavily underestimate their body fat, probably by like 5%. And truth be told, this concept isn't something that we can just understand or accurately tell right away, because there's so much inaccurate information online. Like, I used to look at the body fat charts, and to be honest, I would suggest not to follow these. You might be thinking like, oh, okay, I'll just do an in-body at my local gym or a DEXA scan to see, and I'm here to tell you those aren't very accurate either, because an in-body can literally be way off. We've seen it many times, even clocking people at like 3% body fat when they're nowhere near that. Like, come on now. And a DEXA scan is a lot better and definitely can score you within the general realistic range, but that can also be a bit off on the margins. And I saw this when I was watching one of Jeff Nippard's recent videos where he took a bunch of test subjects and had them scan their body fat using DEXA, and it shows how off DEXA can actually be. Like, for example, this guy is pretty lean, but apparently he's single digit body fat according to DEXA, which is, as we can see, is pretty off, but he has still a pretty low body fat percentage, just not single digit level. So honestly, for the most part, I just started always taking things with a grain of salt and estimated my body fat around a range, and also just started intuitively looking at, do I like how lean I'm looking right now? Like, screw the scale weight, just looking in the mirror, I might think like, oh, you know what? I want my abs to be a bit more defined. I've been training for a while now, so you know what? Let's see them. I'm not gonna worry about having to lose extra pounds and getting lighter over having some clean cut abs. Like, we owe it to ourselves to get lean enough to actually see the true potential of our physiques. Not even like crazy shredded, but like 15 to 16% body fat is good enough for some people if you have big enough abs. But most people have made decent gains but aren't looking their best because they're at a way too high of a body fat percentage, like around 20% body fat or higher. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm always gonna stay leaner, never really bulk higher than that, because it's not like I can force muscle to grow faster by eating more calories. And to be honest, 15 to 16% body fat is pretty chill. It's not shredded, if that's what some people are worried about, because they might be worried about how you're gonna feel, but you have enough fat to maximize muscle gain and you have good energy, and you can just maximize your gains on maintenance calories. We have to be realistic about where we are and where we want to be, and continuing on the infinite bulk is not gonna get us to our dream physique faster. Instead, it can even slow down our progress if we end up getting too fat, because then you have to cut and do all of that, which is just so much worse. And this is the direction that I'm gonna take, which I recommend for everyone else, is just take your bulk slow, don't go overboard and gain a whole lot of excess fat. All the influencers you might see do this as well. Like, you don't see people like David Lade, for example, who is a huge inspiration for many people, ever get fat. He's always relatively lean, and that's why his physique looks so amazing all the time. But to be fair, However, other influencers do have better genetics as well, and most of the time there are influencers who are on gear, which is why the process is easier for them. But besides that, we can all look very damn good by not bulking to bear mode and trying to rush the process of being big, because it's all just fat, bro. We're always gonna be better than our past selves, and that's literally what's the most important thing. Becoming the best version of yourself and having that delayed gratification. The journey is gonna take years, and that's why it's like valuable, right? That's why it's valuable to have a good physique. Let's go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you did, and I'll see you in the next one.